Hey guys, and on the last episode of Question Block, I asked, what is your favorite new mechanic in Donkey Kong Bonanza? This game is incredible. It's very innovative and creative, and that's partially due to the new mechanics and gimmicks that it adds, and it's partially why it's one of my favorite games of all time. It is just so fun and so unique. It does feel similar to some 3D platformers like Mario Odyssey, but it feels very fresh at the same time. So I'm excited to read through some of these comments and see what people enjoyed about Bonanza. So DG said, my new favorite mechanic in Bonanza is the destructive ability. It's a lot like Tears of the Kingdom. Yeah, I really like the fact that you could just dig everywhere, destroy anything. It is really fun and satisfying, and it gives you a lot of freedom. Well, I don't entirely agree with holding this game up to Tears of the Kingdom. I feel like Bonanza should kind of stand on its own in a lot of regards, but I do understand the comparison, because both games are very open-ended, and you could basically do what you want in Bonanza. I just really appreciate that element of it, because I feel like it puts it a step above Odyssey in some ways, even though I do feel like both games are objectively pretty close to one another in quality. Bonanza just has that much more exploration, from being able to basically go anywhere and just dig through and destroy anything. So I just really appreciate that aspect of it. So Joseph Miller said, on a smaller scale, I thought the switcheroo goo was a cool idea. Yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting how they used it in that one branching path area and some of the sub-areas of Bonanza. I definitely think that's a pretty fun little gimmick, and it kind of reminds me of some of the little mechanics that Galaxy 2 and the linear 3D Mario games had, like the beat blocks and the flip panels. This kind of seems like the destructible environment equivalent to that. So I really appreciated that. So Gaming Reinvented said, that's a really tough choice, not gonna lie. So many of this game's mechanics are just incredible. Gonna go with Bonanzas though. They add so much to the game, and I use all of them all the time. Oh yeah, I agree. The Bonanzas are definitely a highlight to me, especially kind of combined with the fact that this game has a destructible environment, and also just with the combat in the game being really fun as well. Like, just the fact that it gives you so much freedom with them is just really fun, like using like the snake Bonanza to bounce up and then kind of switch into the ostrich Bonanza that kind of gain more distance and get over to like a platform that you wouldn't reach otherwise. I just think it's really fun. Or just going around everywhere with the elephant Bonanza and just kind of like sucking in all the material and just clearing out an area trying to find like a banana or fossils. It's just really fun and really satisfying. They've never felt forced at any point in the game, and I just really appreciate their inclusion. So next up, Minman for the win-win said, the resting areas. I know it's weird out of everything, but I love hearing stuff from Pauline. It made me love her even more. She's sweet, funny, and an absolute gremlin. Oh yeah, I agree. I really like the little getaways in the game, since you can replenish your health, switch out your outfits pretty easily, and also listen to music. And I also love the little things that Pauline says as well for each area. It's really nice, and it kind of adds on to like the lore, because I think Pauline mentions her grandmother as well, since I think that's pretty cute, and I definitely like that touch there. So the getaways are definitely a great inclusion to Bonanza. So Nate Clone said, my favorite mechanic is the fact that you don't have to use the mechanics. With tight platforming and terrain manipulation, you're able to beat the entire game while only using the elephant Bonanza once. Combine that with a zero banana run, it just makes for a very open and fun experience. Oh yeah, I love the fact that Bonanza allows you to do things like that, either speedruns, like skipping through different areas, skipping Bonanzas, like in allowing you to not collect a single banana. I think that is incredible and allows for quite a lot of flexibility that Nintendo games usually don't allow for. I love that, and I feel like that instantly made this game a classic for me. It's like really up there with games like Mario 64 and Mario Odyssey, because I think both of those games like allow for quite a lot of flexibility with the mechanics as well. But I feel like Bonanza in some ways takes it to a whole other level. Like, it's just amazing, and I love the fact that you can just kind of like skip through a lot of things. And the thing is, the developers even intended for it a little bit. Like, the developers kind of wanted people to do sequence breaks and like skip through areas and basically speedrun through the game. So I think that's incredible that they kind of allowed you to do that here. So that is just a great aspect of this game. So next up, Emloom said, the enemies being made out of different terrain materials makes for so much diversity, even though there aren't really many enemies in the game. Oh yeah, like even though there are only like a few like select enemy types, I feel like the fact that they can be made up of different materials, like stone, wood, bramble, like all these different things, metal, concrete, it really allows for like a lot of variety here, because like even though you'll encounter like a lot of like crocoids or buzzoids and things, like encountering like a stone crocoid at the beginning of the game is like completely different from encountering a spiked concrete crocoid towards the end of the game. It's a very different experience with how you'd approach the enemy and what materials you're going to use to defeat it. It definitely allows for a lot of variety here, and it feels like there's a lot of enemies in the game, even though there are only a few select types here. So I really appreciate that aspect. I kind of like how they handled the enemies in this game. So yeah. Next up, Rubberman202 said, not sure why, but when I saw this post, I immediately thought of turf surfing. It has a lot of mobility, it plows through enemies, and it's just kind of fun to use. Yeah, I think turf surfing is kind of an underrated aspect of Bananza, I would say, because it definitely is a fun way of kind of like going through like each of the areas. Like if you see like an objective, like a fossil or a banana off in the distance, like you could just like pick up like a chunk of like rock and just like surf across the environment. It's really fun. It almost feels like an evolved version of shield surfing from Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. I know I said I don't really like the comparisons with popular games that much, but it really does kind of feel like that a lot. Like, it honestly feels even more intuitive than like shield surfing, I would say, because you just pick up the material and just instantly like start surfing on it. It feels like a lot more intuitive than shield surfing, so I really appreciate it. So finally, Demeech said, my favorite is when Donkey Kong rips a chunk from the terrain to reveal the My Nintendo Donkey Kong Country Returns HD Post-it Notes. Yes, I need to do a video about that. The amazing, extremely important My Nintendo Donkey Kong Country Returns HD Post-it Notes. Much more important than the entirety of Donkey Kong Bonanza. So yeah, I am so glad that they included those post-it notes in Bonanza. Just an incredible feature, just amazing. If only Tiki Tong was in the game. So anyways, the next question is, which underrated or flawed Nintendo game deserves a second chance? Let me know down in the comments. And anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe for more, and make sure to check out my Discord server and Blue Sky if you want to. Stay perky!